What's up, folks? Time for another video. I would say I got sad news, semi-sad, I guess, but not really. I got deactivated from Uber and Lyft. So now I'm out of a gig job for good. Well, at least with them. And my thing is, the dusty niggas who did it, I wish nothing. I ain't gonna say wish. I'm gonna put it out in the air and prophesy it. But man, I'm not a forgiving kind of person, man, because I know when people do stuff to me, it's out of sheer malice. But nothing but bad is gonna come your way. To those you love and to you yourself. All the bad in life of this reality is gonna be upon you. That's a curse from me to you, God. I'm God. Now, the thing with Uber is, it was a way for me to make pretty decent money. Since I ain't doing it no more, I can tell y'all what I was pretty much averaging. When I first started doing it, you know, I was grossing like $6,000 to $7,000. A couple of times I made $9,000 a month. You know, so it's like a real bona fide job with me. But, you know, after Uber gets this cut, I'll probably get like $5,000. For the 9,000 a month runs, I'll probably get like 6,000. Slash more off that for gas money. For that one was like 5,000. But I always strive to make at least 4,000. Sometimes I fall short because I got, you know, kind of, I ain't gonna say lazy. I always did it down there every day. But you get tired of dealing with people. So I start cutting my hours back from like 12, 11, and then 10, and then 8. So I try to average 8. Averaging 8, I was making like $4,000 and some change most of the time after fuel. But you know I got to pay taxes, so that's even less. But here's the thing with the taxes. The taxes is pretty much minuscule. If I was averaging like 4,000 something a month, but you pay quarterly taxes. You know, the government wants you to pay quarterly taxes, estimated quarterly taxes. I was only paying like $500 because once I got my first tax information for the first year I was doing it, I knew what to expect, how much taxes based on the kind of runs I was doing. So like every 3 months, then you got a 2 month, then you got a 4 month, so like roughly like $500 for taxes, for a total of $2,000 for federal, you know. And it was like a little more. It came a little more with like state and city tax. Yeah, you live in Detroit, you gotta pay some punk ace city tax. But that's the thing with that. So it's a bona fide job. So when I was out here doing it, you know, people, you got people online, you got people out in the world looking down on it. You know, but I was making more than some of these people going to the factory. To the factory, to Amazon, I was making more than them. This is something I can do. This gig work, it taught me something about myself, the kind of work I can do. I already have my CDLA, you know. I gotta find some way to get back in that because my experience is very low in that, so it's hard for me to get in it. Back into trucking, unless I just buy my own trucking, you know, buy my own truck and do trucking, you know. But that's the thing, you know, I never really expected to do this for forever, for long term as a career. It always stayed in my mind, like, man, these people just cut me off at the drop of a hat. And you go reading forums and see online videos about it, man. People lie on you, man. You try to do people a favor. You know, little young ass minors want to report you because you say things like, I really ain't supposed to be picking you up. And that's another thing too, with a lot of drivers, Lyft and Uber. I did both. And both times some dusty ass effer got me deactivated. They can lie on you and say anything, man. And the company would take their side, man. There's no real way to prevent it. So it's almost like an inevitability, man. You hear about people that had like 50-something thousand rides and 20-something thousand rides just get deactivated on the drop of a hat. Me personally, between Uber and Lyft, I had like 12,000 some rides in less than 2 years, man. That's how much I was grinding with it. You know, I started in January 2024, and now I got canned in November, like a couple days ago. So I almost had like 10,000 with Uber. I had like 2,600 with Lyft before I was canned. And both times, man, people will say, well, y'all might be listening like, well, it gotta be you. No, man. The reason why I'm making this video to kind of warn some of y'all who think about going into rideshare, because I even spoke to some passengers, a couple chicks, man. They said they couldn't deal with it for 2 weeks, man. The attitude from people, man, and it take a lot to get me riled up, man. But I'm a man who don't like. I can't take like certain things, pet peeves I didn't like, man. You know, for instance, when somebody like here's a thing, man. Like everybody got their pet peeves, but one of mine was when I'm stopping by a person's house, I'm like creeping by, and I got my foot on the brake about to stop, and the passenger be like, right here. And in my mind, I'm like, bitch, I'm not gonna keep driving. Like a lot of women is good from that. Stop. They tell you stuff like that. They give you commands. You got people out here, they don't got no kind of decorum. They don't got no manners. They tell you to stop. They don't say, you can stop. No, they don't even that gets on your skin, because they don't know how to say you can stop right here. They don't even say that right. Why would you tell somebody you can stop right here? Why would you give people command? And I got to the point where I said, well, let me try this. You know, I start pointing to their house, and they still say it. You know, almost like you gonna keep driving, you gonna drive off with them or something. You know, like I said before in my other videos, man, I'm pretty good, very keen on reading people, man. Their emotional state of mind. Yeah, I get angry. Everybody get angry. Even Jesus, who you Bible thumpers like to bring up, got angry, flipping over tables, man. That's God. God gets angry. God put emotions in people. I don't care what y'all think. Stoicism, that ain't 100% the way of humans. Humans have emotions, and even anger serves a purpose. Break, get you out of mundane routines and get you to act. But back to what I'm saying, you got people like that, man. They get in, they slam your door. I had to put up signs to say, do not slam door. You got little petite girls slamming doors, women slamming doors. I turned on the camera, had the dash cam, now I still got deactivated. That didn't help. People say, get you a dash cam. Doesn't help, man. They don't like Uber and Lyft, man. If you're a person, man, with a backbone, and this is who this video is really about. If you're a person with a backbone, people talking S-H-I-T to you in your own car, this is not a rental, this is my car that I got to pay bills on. You're not gonna really want to keep people in your car. My thing was I like to get people out of my vehicle ASAP. Like when I sense arguments, people don't agree, you mess up on the map. Sometimes you mess up, most of the time you don't. But why are you gonna really blow up at somebody? Like the chick blew up because I made a turn she didn't like, said the map said this, but the map showed this. And she telling me what the map said from her end. Because, I guess she's looking at her map. But it's showing something different on my map. 3 forks in the road. Of course, things could happen. But damn, it's only like, I take the route all the time. It's only like, what, 2 blocks off? Zoom around. This dusty BITC wasn't going nowhere important, man. But that's how it is out here, man. You got a lot of dusty people eating your car. They see the sign looking dead at it. I remember I had one East Indian broad. She just gobbled down her food in the back seat. drank, whatever. And then after I dropped her off, she said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the sign. I know she saw it because every little child who got in here with their parents, their little babies and stuff, they always read the sign. No eating, no drinking, no smoking. They read it all the time. It's staring you dead in your face on both seats, behind my seat and on the passenger side. They see it, man. They don't care. It's straight up sheer disrespect. And I don't allow eating and drinking. They spill stuff, man. One Asian lady spilled something on my seat. She didn't tell me. So that means somebody can't sit in it. Somebody comes sit on it. I get a bad rating. I got to put a towel down. Who want to sit on the towel, man? That'll stop my run for the day. Because I got to take the seat cover off and go wash it. That's going to take a couple of hours, man. That throws everything off, man. It depends on when it happened. If it happened early, you know, you can still get out here and make money. But I have a certain quota, a certain time, you know. Especially when you're somewhere, you got to find a parking spot, man. You at an apartment complex. You can't be getting back after a certain hour. You ain't even get no parking spot. You be circling the damn parking spot all night. I'd have to pay for a motel, spend money out the money I earned to get a room or something, which I ain't trying to do. But that's how the app treats you, man. Like, you can make money with Uber and Lyft. I ain't gonna sit up here and knock them for that. But you walking on eggshells is what I'm saying. You walking on eggshells. And a lot of you passengers out here, man, they like to start trouble, man.
Turn right on East 11 Mile Road.
Like, we know where you live. Like, I know where the chicks stay. I know where some of them people at who cause me problems, man. Like, it's just funny, man. People start shit, cause you to lose your way of earning. I gotta get out here and find something, because that's the thing. You do this, you know, it shifts your job experience. Even though it's job experience, it's just contract. It's not really contract work. See, Uber and Lyft, they don't operate like that. They do that. They do the contract stuff, man, to skirt the law, man. And I have a strange feeling that ain't a strange feeling. They're gonna get busted sooner or later. The government gonna catch on and force them to hire people as full employees with a baseline salary like they do in California. It's gonna be across the board. But they, you know, they got a habit of just getting rid of drivers, man. It don't make no sense. Why would you get rid of your bread and butter? They think the passengers are the bread and butter. No, it's the drivers the bread and butter. That broad is a one-off, man. She can't afford to, you know, unless she got a job. But hell, let's say you picking up people who go to work every day. You know, they go miles to work. I've taken people 30, 20-something miles to work. And they do it every day. But here's the thing. They still don't make more than the Uber driver who do it full time, who's making for the company.
There's a lane closure ahead.
You making it? I done made Uber thousands of dollars. Probably since the time I've been driving, probably close to 50 grand, like 40-some thousand, maybe 30-some thousand. Really? You think a passenger, just a few passengers, gonna have enough rides to make Uber and Lyft that kind of money, man? It's not happening. But yet and still, they quick to get rid of drivers and all this stuff. But if you're a driver with a backbone, man, you're gonna have to be basically a mute. No, I wasn't a mute. Like my thing was I speak when spoken to, you know. So I didn't really have problems with people reporting me for just bad conversation. My thing was people would say little slick stuff and it'd get under my skin and I had to check them for it. People just bad out here, man. First when I started doing it, the bad apple was like 30%, the good was 70%. And then as I kept doing it, I kept getting more and more bad ratios of riders, man. Like the last couple of months of stretch, Uber added like rating system where you can choose the riders you want. You know, I knock it all the way up to 4.9 or higher, and that broad was in that range. So that's another thing too about the rating system with passengers. It don't really mean much to the driver. The driver's rating system, it may mean something, but not necessarily. But I had a 4.93. I had a 4.94, but I had an argument with a chick. I knocked her down. She knocked mine down. It's a retaliatory rating system. Let Uber and Lyft tell you any different, man.
At the light,
People
right,
can figure it
turn
out,
right.
man. When they see their score drop, they just drop yours. Like, it's not rocket science. They can easily figure it out. They only take like 1 or 2 rides a day. What was that guy I was arguing with? Let me go back. Let me go and change his rating. So that's how that go, man. They'll tell you that it's anonymous. It's not anonymous, man. It's logic. You can figure out who gave you a bad rating by your interaction with a passenger. And it always happens. Sometimes you get lucky and get them a 1-star, 3-star, and they don't catch it. But most of the times they catch it. You give them a 1-star, and they'll give you a 1-star. That's how they do it, man. They call it deductive reasoning or something like that. Uber and Lyft, man, these companies, man, they don't want you to say nothing to these disgruntled people, man. But it's hard driving, taking somebody on a trip when they talking crap. Now, this last chick got me deactivated because I did have some incidents before. But when I first started off, I had a zero tolerance for disrespect, man. So I had to physically put people out, man. Like, because they wouldn't leave. That's another thing. You have passengers who wouldn't leave, man. I don't understand that, man. You didn't fill out with a driver, man. Why would you want to stay in this driver's car? You say they'll say things like you making them feel uncomfortable. Man, boys and girls had to put out. They say you making them uncomfortable. I'm talking about women, adults, folks. They say you making them uncomfortable. All right, I say like, all right, here, I'm gonna pull over here. You can leave then. You know, you making me uncomfortable. It's hard driving with a person talking shit behind your back, man. And that's the thing about a lot of passengers with this rideshare, man. They come at you in a familiar way as if as if they know you, man. You don't know these people. A lot of black people is good for that. Now, I've had some words with some white folks and all that. Not so much with foreigners. You know, sometimes when you're so foreign culturally, there's nothing really to kind of connect or kind of build any kind of, you know, you just chalk it up to that's how their culture is. But, you know, some white folk, I had words with them, but they ain't report me. You know, how do I know? Because at the events, man, so many times, it's usually very quick that somebody will report you. And when a couple of weeks go by, you know, okay, they just, you know. But then again, like my interaction with white folks, you know, they'll say something racist, and I had to counteract that with some truth. Or they'll, you know, try to switch the trip up and tell me that it's good that I told you, you know, I could have just changed it on you. That kind of stuff, man. That's another thing about both Lyft and Uber. I got both perspectives as a driver. But that's solely what I did. They would allow passengers, man, to, if you thinking about driving, this is what you got to expect, man. If you select the trip, you be like, you might be going home. You might have something to do after this last trip. You know, I'm gonna accept this trip, man. Then I'm gonna do what I got to do. You would accept the trip and keep driving, and you didn't look at the trip again, and you would get in the car and realize it's a multi-stop. Sometimes a 3 multi-stop. Or you'll be in the car with a passenger, they won't even ask. They'll just change the trip on you, man. Like, F your time, and you don't even get paid. You get paid pennies more, literally. Pennies more. It's not worth it, man. I avoid multi-stops. I don't care how much they pay. That's when I, you know, like this year I began, you know, you start learning tricks of the trade, man. what's right for you. At first, I was doing everything, multi-stops and all. But you had the most trouble out of multi-stop passengers. Passengers who are requesting stops on the app. They don't ask you, man. That's disrespectful. I don't care what Uber allows, man. You gonna switch the trip? They say we contract workers, but how can you change the contract without the driver agreeing? That's something that would be allowed as an employee. Now, if I was an employee, I would have no choice but to operate like that. But to accept those kind of rides and to expect them, because I'm an employee. But I'm a contractor, as they say. I got to pay contract type taxes, 1099s and all that shit. Why would you be allowed to change a trip on somebody? I only agreed to the initial trip. I didn't agree to what you selected. Well, you can cancel. Yeah, you can cancel, but now your account get dinged. That stuff do affect you. You cancel so many trips, you'll find yourself not getting trips for minutes. If you got a certain time quota to fill, man, you can't be waiting 30 minutes for another trip, man. And then, Uber has the nerve. I don't know if Lyft do, but Uber has the nerve to send you surveys and ask what needs to be changed. I can't say how many times I done put down stop that stuff and, what to change and all that. They don't listen, man. That company, man. I wouldn't be surprised if a bot deactivated me, man, or a machine, man. Because I remember not too long ago, I called Xfinity to try to get something going on with my mobile service. And it was like the person who talked to me, they was talking like a human, but it was something robotical about it. Like, it was kind of like, it was something off, man. And I had went online, I was just reading other comments. They were saying the same thing. Because when I was on the phone, I was like, man, this is a damn AI. This motherfucker was answering questions like a human, but it was something off. Some real strange shit. But that's another thing about Uber and Lyft, man. They don't really care about the driver. And it's almost like they run their operation like a money grab. Yeah, shareholders and all this stuff. Ironically, I'm one of them. With both of them, I bought shares into them punk ass companies, man. But it's like they're trying to get all the money they can because they researching these AI self-driving cars. And I already spoke to a couple of passengers, an old white couple, told me in California they got in a Waymo vehicle with straight up AI, not a driver in there. I said, how y'all feel when it started speeding up? They said they wasn't scared. They said he was avoiding people in the street and all that. In my mind, I was thinking, well, they avoid black folk. But it's stuff like that, man. This is a strange world we're living in, man. And it ain't strange because of nature. It's strange because of how people make it, man. But back to you N-words, man. Yeah, I'm saying it N-words, but I don't want y'all to think, man, you hate black people. No, it ain't like that, man. But there's a sector of black people out here, not being FBA. I understand that I may have been dealing with some non-FBA tether immigrant lineage folk. Because a lot of you folk, man, and that's another thing, man. I'm gonna add this. Dealing with like younger passengers, man, if you can, avoid picking up like underage minors, because you're really not supposed to do it. But I have slipped up. But like towards this, the end of my run, I stopped doing it because, somebody lied on me. The parent who set up the ride lied on me and got my account deactivated, but I got to reinstate it. But that's kind of like the last straw, I guess. 3 strikes you out. One guy lied and said I pulled my weapon out on him and all this stuff. You got stuff like that, man, which is completely false. The dude didn't make. I was pissed off. I told him to get the hell out. But I wasn't mad enough to shoot the dude. You got people out here like that, man. It's just bad apples, man. Like, they come at you, man. I'm from Detroit. I'm not really from here, but I've been here so long. Like, you have passengers who know that. They act like things are supposed to change, man. Like they can just disrespect you, like you won't see these people in real life, man. Like outside of driving them somewhere, they act like you won't see them somewhere. They act like, oh, this is just some employee. This is a McDonald's type of nigga, type of job. Man, I see you, man. That's what I'm trying to get. That's why I want y'all people, man, who think about doing this ride share. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of black people in particular, if you're black, who think they won't see you out here, man. Like you can't step to them. Like they can just disrespect you in your car and you won't see them. That kind of idiotic stuff, man. Like I'm prepared to see them. You know what I'm saying? I know it. I said I might see this motherfucker again. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to censor myself so I get this video play. I want it to be played because I'm really dropping some information for y'all. Because a lot of other people, man, they got quirky statistical data and how to cheat the system. You're not going to cheat the system, man. That's one thing about Uber, man. I want y'all to understand. Any of y'all thinking about doing it, you can do it, but expect to be deactivated sometime soon if you're a person with a backbone, man. If you can tolerate a lot of stuff, a lot of foreigners can because they come from countries where, you know, they getting stepped on every day. Yeah, I can say what I need to say. You get walked on every day. Yeah, you gonna come be an Uber driver and get stepped on, and they gonna bother you. People gonna talk crazy to you. Like, hey, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I'm trying to help you. You ain't gonna say get the fuck out my car, or you know somebody trying to stay in. You can grab them and yank them out. You're not gonna do that stuff. I will. I'm not gonna have somebody behind me talking crazy like the BITCH who got me deactivated. Don't talk to me. Really? This bitch said that, dog. Don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me. You gotta go. That's what I told her. Dumped her ass off on the expressway. That on the side of the expressway. That's what she wanted. I said, you want to get out right here? Yeah. So I expected that. I was like, man, this bitch probably got me deactivated. But I was thinking anyway. I was like, man, I gotta find something else to do, man. I like, man, I can tolerate so much, but certain things, man, you can't tolerate, man. Because like I said, you got to see these people, man. You can't see that's what these companies don't get, man. Self-respect, that's important, man. Reputation is important. Now, you know, me being a black man, I can go to a club, a bar. Now, just say I let this MF talk crazy to me without checking them. And I go out to a bar and oh, that's that Uber driver. Yeah, I was talking, he a little punk. I was talking all types of stuff to him. And this, that, and the third. He just took it. Little punk. Dudes be listening to that. They might want to try you. Man, that's how it is out here, man. When your reputation is stained, letting stuff slide, people who don't even know you're going to step to you. You got to deal with that anyway. But it'll really be worse when you built up a punk reputation, man. All that stuff matter. People paying y'all, they just say, it don't matter what they say. Yes, it does. I used to get into a whole lot of shit just with strange motherfuckers I didn't even know just by having a bad reputation and letting stuff slide. Reputation is important, man. That's a part of your ability to survive. And people say, well, a lot of people is slamming for reputation. That's just the way of the world, man. Sometimes you can't avoid stuff. You can try. I can say, if you care about your reputation and you can't really avoid it, you got to move, man. But then again, you'll move somewhere else. And you'll get fucked up with, effed up over there where you just move. You can't run. You got to stand on something, man. People like to talk about, there's a lot of people in the slime who stand on stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of people dead who didn't. And there's a lot of people who live in a cowardice life and it catches up with them in the end. You have somebody, man, you have people out here, like I said in the other video, energy stacks up. You got to release it somehow. You have people who tolerate a lot of stuff from people throughout their years, and they'll become an old person and kill somebody. Or they'll become an old person and do something that'll get themselves killed. You gonna respect me, young man? Cause they ain't stand up all their life. They was just taking the punches. So they stepped to some other youth, their old age. You gonna respect me, young man? That young man knock him out, put him in a coma, kill him. That kind of stuff, man. You gotta always be primed to deal with disrespect, man. There's no way around it, man. Some stuff you take, you know. Even if a police pull you over and beating your ass, man, you gotta make a decision. I can let this cop beat me to death, or I can try my fortune and try to take him out. You know, maybe I still get took out. It's a high probability. But I can die trying to save my life, showing our universe that I care enough to attempt to save my life, or I can just take it lying down and be beaten to death, lose an eye or teeth get knocked out. But you got some dirty people out here, man. They try to maim you and take things that you can't get back away from you. Losing your sight, that's unforgivable, man. I'll kill somebody over that with the quickness. They do that to my child, anything. I don't care if another child did it to my child. I don't care if it was an accident. It gotta be an accident. And when I say that, it gotta look everything like, every bit like an accident. But that's another story. Off the real topic with the Uber and Lyft. You know. Yeah, you can make some money. I throw it out there, you can make some money, man. People say, well, $4,000 ain't a lot of money. When the job is kind of easy to you, it is. Driving people around, I knew I can do the job because, you know, I used to drive friends around. They didn't really ask them for money like that. You know, because I used to just like driving, you know, clear my thoughts. Then when I actually did it, like, man, this ain't really nothing. The only thing that make it really hard, if you're a person who like driving, who drive anyway, the only thing that make it hard is the passengers, man, and the Uber's fare system and how they hook up rides and allow people to disrespect you. Because changing the trip and all that without asking, that's disrespectful. I don't care if they allow it, that's disrespectful, man. You agree to something, they change the terms without asking you. They call us contractors, but we really not contractors, some kind of pseudo employees. I mean, and Uber allows it. It shows you what Uber thinks about the drivers anyway. So that's why I kind of expected the bullshit from Uber and Lyft. Both of them do it. What kind of company allows somebody to change the contract? Somebody who don't understand human nature, who don't even care about human nature. That's conflict right there. You got to be somewhere. They tell you can just make your own schedule. You make your schedule, then some jackass changed the damn trip on you without asking. They got the nerve to give you a 1 star when you get him a 1 star. That's a 1 star attribute right there. You didn't ask, man. You just changed the trip. And some of them be slick. You know, they know not to request a multi-stop off rip. So they do those kinds of things. They request a single trip and then switch it on you. Sometimes you grit your teeth and bear it. Sometimes you get mad and cancel. So I had some conflict out of that. That stirs up trouble, man. What kind of company would allow that? Company don't really give a damn about you. So expect that. If y'all think about driving for Uber and Lyft, expect the BS, man. Expect the company to allow people to disrespect you, and expect the company to side with the passenger when you check these passengers. You know, I wasn't really cussing the chick out. I called her a dumbass at the end. But this chick was talking like she gonna whoop my ass. Look, punk ass broad, dusty broad. I ain't saying she was dusty. It's like some people, you know they gonna be trouble, but you just try to go with the flow, man. Got in, said, you know, announced her name. She ain't say nothing. People like that, man, who hostile off rip, man, you gotta be careful. If your instinct tell you something, I don't care if you see the person. Your instinct say, man, my instinct, I don't want to do this trip. Don't even pick them up, man. Don't even pick them up. I had a trip that said 666. Picked them 2. I guess they lesbians. I don't know. That's what I assume. Black chick, white chick, end up being a problem. They try to get me to go through a gated factory where you need a code to get out. And I already had experience with that. You'd be trapped somewhere and can't even get out. They won't tell you that you can't get out. It's all about them just getting to their destination. You got people like that. You got some dirty passengers out here, man. They'll put you somewhere and get you trapped where you can't get out. You know, they'll spill stuff in your car. Won't tell you. You have signs that say no smoking, no vaping. They still ask. The reason why you put the signs up, because when you tell people no, it's a psychological thing. It kind of makes the air kind of like pending hostility. Like people will get salty about it, man. You tell people no about anything, it don't matter how you tell them. Nice, sweet, soft, respectable. You told them no. They wanted to smoke. They got an addiction. You told them no. You don't let people get in your car with alcohol. You know, it's like, come on, man. You got a lot of disrespectful folks out here. They come in smelling like strong weed. You got to think about the next rider after them, man. That's why I didn't really get bad ratings based on smells and dirtiness. Now, my car is kind of old, but I keep it up, man. Like, I would air the car out, spray it down with disinfectant spray. That's what you got to use. No Febreze. You got to use disinfectant spray. You know, preferably kind with some fragrance to it, because that you got to kill the bacteria and all that, man. People come in with germs. I had a cough for a long time. Just now getting over it. Just by being bombarded with funk and different fragrances. People come in, women come in with strong perfumes, the windows up, crack the windows. Some of that stuff just so strong. It be some nice perfume, but it's too potent. You know, you smell all these strange fumes and stuff. Cigarette smoke on people. People will light a cigarette, smoke a cigarette before you arrive, and put it out before you arrive. Like, by them getting in the car, they're not trailing cigarette smoke. That kind of stuff, that's disrespectful, man. You'll smoke a cigarette, let me see you with the cigarette, and get in my car. I had to put a dude out. He was surprised that I did it. So that kind of stuff got me deactivated, man. Having some kind of dignity, man. Not letting people step on me, run all over me, man. And if you that person, man, you trying to drive for Uber and Lyft, they're not gonna like that kind of character in the driver, man. They want you to be like a robot, because that's what they leaning towards anyway. AI driving cars. You got to be like a machine, man. And no human being really operates like that, man. You can't let everything roll off your back, man. Because that's the thing. The onus of trust is not just on you as a driver, man. That's what these passengers think. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. Like I told you, I don't know you. I don't know you. Like, you, man, you can't underestimate none of these passengers. It ain't you being scary, man. I had 2 passengers who left switchblades in my car, man. Almost like to say, I thought I might have to use it on you, but hey, I guess I don't. Because, you know, I took a couple to like clubs and all that. A couple of them dudes have ideas who it was. One of them, I got a strong idea. I was taking him to some black dude with a strange, weird personality. With all black. He went to some kind of rave or something. So that nigga left it because he knew he couldn't get in with it. I guess he wanted to try to insinuate that we the crazy ones to watch out for. How's the driver the crazy one? We in the most vulnerable position. We facing forward with our backs to, you know, our backs to you. You can just reach over and stab somebody in the neck. Like, man, like, that goes for women too. If you got women thinking, you know, oh, I'm a little dainty. They can spray you with some mace, roll out the car, you crash, kill yourself. If you don't get her ass, if y'all ain't speeding, if you're speeding fast enough, they can rob you, pull out a gun on you, nigga, empty them pockets, nigga. All that shit, man. I gotta throw out some profanity, man. Like, you got companies out here, man, they know this stuff about what happened with drivers. And yet and still they take the passenger side. They only thinking about a damn story talking about such and such Uber or Lyft driver. Such and such thing went down. That's why they get rid of drivers at the drop of a hat. Now, like I told them, I got denied appeal. I was like, man, did you deactivate that chick? She started it. Like, if somebody miss your stop, you don't holler at them and talk crazy to them. Like I said, she tried to tell me where to go. I was like, you can't be shouting like that. You can't order me. She tried to command me, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I gotta look at the app. I'm driving. We on a service drive. I can't just merge over. She not even, the broad ain't considering any of that stuff. She just considering that this is what the app is saying from her perspective. Move over this lane. I gotta look, and while I'm looking, I'm still driving. Where I think I gotta go. You see what I'm saying? You gotta deal with this stuff. People trying to command you like a robot or something. Turn here. That's not how you talk to people. Stop. Really? Somebody would tell you to just stop. Like, you creeping, like about to pull up to the door they want to get out at. You know they getting out at this door. There's no other door around. Stop. Just let that sit in, man. That's what you got. That's what's waiting for you. Any of you Uber and Lyft drivers, I advise y'all, man. I ain't gonna tell you not to do it because you can make some money, but expect the BS and expect to be deactivated if you're a person with a backbone. You're not gonna survive the long haul. I lasted for almost 2 years. Some people couldn't even last a couple of weeks or a day. That says a lot. It says a lot, man, when you can survive a long time. And you got to think about it, man. I'm in Detroit. I'm black. I grew up on. I ain't gonna say on the streets. I'm not a street dude like that, but I've hung out in the streets around street dudes. You know, people always say they from the streets. You from the streets, man. You got to do dirt in the streets, man, to make a living. I ain't get to that point. It could have been, but I ain't get to the point where I was slanging rocks and doing all that stuff, legal stuff, selling weed. It was legal now, weed, so people ain't really doing too much of that. But that's what you got to think about, man. You out here, man. You got a lot of jobs, a lot of work out here. They got, it takes away your dignity, man, for you to do them. And you got to always look at that kind of working for somebody as temporary. Because every time I drive, like, man, it just feel like you're walking on eggshells. It don't even matter if it's a lie, man. People can just lie on you. They will deactivate your account to investigate. Sometimes a few days, sometimes a week. And in the meantime, you got bills to pay, you losing money. That's how they operate. They'll just take the word of the passenger. Even if it's a lie. They don't do nothing to the passenger. Because they feel the passenger is the money machine, when that's not entirely the case, and not really. The driver's the money machine. You got a lot of full-time drivers out here who make Uber a lot of money. So they just cut off one of their fingers. They got millions of fingers, so I guess they feel they can spare. Both companies feel they can spare a finger. But that's how that is, folks. Y'all think about driving for Uber, make your money. It's probably best to have a job. But if you're a person, man, y'all can take, ladies, guys, y'all can take, nonsense from people. It's not like McDonald's. See, that's the thing, like fast food and all that stuff. It is a service profession, but they trick you by making you think you're not really that kind of worker. They say contractor. independent contractor. They only do that to cover their own ass, to get out of paying extra money, you know, for real employee kind of benefits for the workers. But don't get fooled by that contractor. You really are somewhat, you really like a pseudo employee who's being cheated because they call you a contractor. You know, but that's the thing, man. Stack your money, but be looking for something else, man. Preferably start your own business. That's what I always had in mind. Like, man, I ain't gonna be able to do this. I ain't gonna be able to do this for long. That always stayed in my mind. But it just happened sooner than I expected it to. But you know, as far as the last month, I like you start getting weary. They call it jaded or something. You start getting weary of dealing with people, man. People is bad, man. That's the thing I found out. People are just bad apples, man. Bad. And it's not some, it's most. And when I say most, 90% of the passengers you get, not just in Detroit, the metro Detroit area, the surrounding cities. You do Uber here, Lyft here, they're bad apples, man. But you might be a bad apple who's a driver, so you might fit right in. If you're a person with dignity, man, you're a clean person, you value cleanliness, you're gonna be insulted that somebody, a grown-ass man who's like 6'6", to get in your car. This dude was suited and booted. You know, like he was a, you know, upper mobile kind of black dude. He get in my car, this dude smelled like straight up sheer testicle juice, man. And every man know what that smell, that musky, irony smell, man. It's horrible. It was horrible. It was so bad. It was so bad I couldn't air it out with the windows down. It took over 2 weeks to get that smell completely out. Disinfect the hell out this mud with disinfecting spray. It was that bad. It was so bad I would tell female passengers about it, man. They be like, One dude smelled like something dead. Him and that dead smelling guy was the worst, man. It was so bad it saturated the fabric, the roof part. You got to spray down. That's something to think about. Like when y'all disinfect, you got to spray the roof part of your vehicle. You got to spray all over with disinfectant spray, man. That neutralizes, it kills the bacteria, funk causing bacteria. So I'm just giving y'all some pointers too, man. Some drivers out here, man, they like to try to sanitize what they say. You can cheat the system, this and that and the third. Let's go on to the cheat the system part. You can't cheat the system, man. Lyft and Uber operate. The algorithm, you're dealing with an algorithm. They get their money back on the back end from you somehow. One day they'll give you nothing but good rides. Next day they give you bad rides. Then the next day they give you some okay rides mixed in with some bad rides. They always get what they lost from you. That's why you can't cheat the algorithm. You can kind of cherry pick all you want to. They just cut back the rides you get. Or they allow it, and then they just hit you up one day with nothing but bad rides. They start inching away at the money they give you versus the miles you drive. All that stuff adds up because the computer can calculate it extremely fast. They stop third-party apps from working, like Maestro and Maximo. Them things don't work at all. They're completely broken in the Detroit market on the Android. S23, I got an S23 Ultra and an S21 Ultra, but I mainly use my S23 Ultra. Fastest internet Comcast mobile would allow for both phones. So it wasn't no connection issues. It wasn't no inferior tech issues that I was dealing with. Even though my phones is dated, they still like good phones because they was flagship when they came out. But that's what you're dealing with. The algorithm, you can't cheat the algorithm, it's gonna cheat you. And it's gonna hit you up in such a way that it's gonna cause you to reject rides, and it's gonna drop your acceptance rate down. And it's gonna knock you out of tier levels, and then it's gonna start giving you, you think you're doing better, but it's just giving you better rides based on that lower tier. You're still not gaining nothing. It's real tricky, man. The algorithm will get you. You can't deceive it. You just got to go with rides you're willing to accept. You can knock down bad rides every now and then, but you can't really cherry pick. Because the algorithm will figure you out. At least in the Detroit market, it'll figure you out. Like, oh, this guy, he's rejecting these rides. And if you're talking out loud, you'll talk to themselves on occasion. Say, F this, man, I'm tired of these $4 rides. The algorithm is like, oh, you are? It'll test you out. It'll say, let's get this motherfucker a $4 ride. And it's true, because it happened so many times that even a passenger saw the evidence of it. Because I was telling them about the algorithm. When people think you make a lot of money like that, you don't. They're based on the fees they pay. We make about half, really a little less than half. Sometimes we get a little more than half. But that's all the trick of the algorithm, to make you think you're doing something. It'll give you a bone every now and then. But that's what it does. Like, we was talking, I was like, this app will give you a $4 ride. As soon as I said that, a $4 and some ride showed up. I said, see? I said, this app be listening. But you gotta turn the features, you gotta turn the permissions on in order for you to use the app. See, that's some real controlling stuff, man. I kind of want the company to fail, but I got some shares in the motherfuckers. So, like, you punk motherfuckers, I want y'all to fail. Like, I am a little ticked off, man, because it gave me a reason to drive around different places. That's the thing. You can joyride, but it's better to have a reason to be in a city, man. So that was the enjoyable aspect. That and making money. I always had a full tank of gas all the time. You'll never have an empty tank driving for Lyft and Uber, if you're doing it full time, I should say. But yeah, to you dirtbag Negroes who got my account deactivated, all hell on earth goes to y'all. I don't want nothing good for y'all, man. I'm a very vengeful, pay people back what they deserve and some, man. I ain't about none of that moral stuff y'all on, man. Because when people sabotage your ways of making money, man, that's unforgivable. Even Dave Chappelle had a joke about that, what experience he had exposing a guy at the table flipping the, swapping the I guess a coin in a cup type trick at the table. You don't never mess with a man's money. That's what you don't, man. That's what you don't do, man. You got people out here think it's okay to get people fired, man. All right, you can do that. Don't forget, I might see y'all again. No telling how I feel about it, how I'm feeling at the time. Y'all better hope I'm doing well is all I'm saying. 'Cause I'm telling y'all right up, straight up, man. Whoever listening, Kyle, whoever, I don't give a damn. If I gotta get out here and get it, I'm not gonna be on the street begging. I'm gonna be taken. I ain't have no remorse for you niggas, man. 'Cause that's what this ride share taught me, man. That a lot of people are just bad, man. Bad on the inside, bad manners, just raised wrong. And usually it would take like one or two good passengers after a string of bad ones to kind of offset my energy, to kind of knock me back into reality. Like to kind of rejuvenate my spirit. Because you'll have every now and then, it's like a ratio of 10%. Sometimes, some days it's even less than that. It's like 95% bad and 5% good passengers, man. But it only take like one or two to kind of shake off the bad. But if you're dealing with a bad one, A real bad one in particular, you're gonna need two decent passengers you can conversate with, you can kind of relate with. And the thing is, I always was able to relate with fellow Uber and Lyft drivers. Sometimes I have them as passengers. Sometimes they'd be out of state, you know, sometimes they'd be going, you know, they go the rental route where they rent their car. I tried that for 5 weeks. I was able to do it, but it's best to use your own car because you can make the most money. And you know, get you a Toyota, something, a car with a good rating for durability, and stay up on your repairs. People like to say you don't make no money doing Uber. Yeah, yes you do. If you bad with money, you not. You know, I'm used to saving, man. I ain't gonna tell you how much I saved. That's why I ain't up here boo-hooing about it. But you can save a good chunk of change if you know what you're doing. But still, you know, I gotta get me something else, so I won't tap into what I save. You see what I'm saying? That's what you know. Someone say, well, why you ain't in trucking? Don't have consistent work history. These motherfuckers want you to have 10 years of work history. That's what they tell me. And that's probably a part of the discrimination right there, because other people say they don't have to go through that. You know, it's all about how an employer sees you, man. You got a lot of racism out here hidden behind policies, man. They make policies to screen out black people or a certain type of black person. See, I'm FBA, I'm a foundational Black American. If I don't have no accent or no immigrant last sounding name, like my name don't really sound like FBA, you know, because my dad and his mom, my grandmother, they was from the Nation of Islam. You know, she's Nation of Islam. That's her religion to the day she died. So I got most Nation of NOI names. Me and my brother and my sister got NOI names. You know, sound Eastern but spelled the NOI way. You know, instead of an I, 2 E's, that kind of stuff. But that's what it is, man. And I learned a lot, man. And I ain't gonna sit up here and say it's all black people, but those are the ones who gonna sabotage you. If you're a white person, you probably do well with black people. Black people just act different around white people, you know, because most of our teachers is white and all that stuff. You know, the white man, the white woman, that's the authority right there in this society. It's white supremacist society. But if you're a black person, man, if you're not a dusty dude, and people can sense that, they know when you're not a dusty dude. They know when you have high standards. Standards that they don't want to live up to. No smoking. So they know them coming in your car smelling like weed and cigarettes is nasty to you. See, they're uncomfortable by your high standards. The air that you give off, or that you don't tolerate this kind of stuff. You know? Bad apples, man. Now, if you're a smoker, black guy who smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, drink all that, well, you can't drink and drive. That'll get you knocked off the platform too. But if you're a dude who on a dusty level, but you a step above the dusty because you're trying to do it the right way by driving with Uber and Lyft, then you'll probably get along with a lot of these motherfuckers, man. It was hard for me to maintain the star rating that I had, man, because of my kind of personality, man. I don't tolerate disrespect. I can see it a mile coming. The moment somebody says something in a way that I don't like, I say that's disrespectful. And then right then the clock is ticking for me, you know, whether I can tolerate it or I'm gonna have to eject this motherfucker out my car. I'm very sensitive to the way people say things to me, because I already know what it is. It ain't how they are. It ain't just how a person are. People are disrespectful, man. And you be dealing with a lot of ratchets, man. These brawls, man, there's no hope for them, man. And that's kind of like why I used to follow Tommy Sotomayor at first, until you start talking about Trayvon Martin was a thug and deserved it. Now, I don't agree with that. You start going that route, I had to stop following you. But when he's talking about them broads, these ignorant ass broads, I was like, yeah, that, I was really on that. Like, man, he's spot on telling the truth. I'm not really too much on it because I know the deal. There's a sector of these black broads out here and Negroes, black niggas you got to deal with. Now, back on the youth, I had tapped into that a little bit. A lot of young dudes out of here, man, a lot of high school. You shouldn't be picking them up anyway. You're going to be dealing with a lot of them. And they might slip through the cracks and you give them rides anyway. A lot of them are just rude as hell. It's not them just being young. Because I wouldn't like that, man. A lot of them is rude. They're going to slam your doors, tell you to stop in a command tone. Stop. Stop. Listen, you hear what I'm saying? Stop. Right here. Right here. Dang. One chick said I almost hit her trash can. Hey, nigga, you gonna stop? I just kept on driving. I ain't pick her ass up. You gonna be dealing with that. It's them little things that get you, man. That's what gets you, man. That's what gets you like, man, I'm gonna put your ass out. You ain't be talking crazy to me. Don't talk to me. What? Get the fuck out. You got to deal with all that disrespect, man. See, at McDonald's, man, you got to just take it. But when you've been told you're a contractor, you paying contractor type taxes, it's your car, you go into the mechanic, you got your own mechanics you go to, you got a rapport with them, you bring parts to them, they hook it up for you. Spending money on stuff, on your insurance. Somebody talking crazy? So what? That's what the chick told me. I said, this is my car, I pay on it. So what? You gotta go. I don't want you to get hit by a car, kinda, but you gotta get the hell out. Some of them will tell you they're not going nowhere, call the police. You gotta deal with all that stuff, man. I had to sit, one chick, man, she wouldn't leave, black broad. I said, man, you gotta get out. You holding me hostage? I said, you holding me hostage, get the fuck out. We're in the suburbs, St. Clair Shores. Yeah, it was dark time, but she didn't know where she was going. And that's like around when I first started doing it, my tolerance level was low for people trying to play games, man. My thing is, you should know where you're going, man. I'm not gonna drive around and hold your hand. You have people like that. They want you to drive around and find where they gotta go. If they set a trip, a pin, and you reach the pin, I can see if it was around the way. See, when I got some experience, I start being more lenient. I get people like up to a mile, and after that, you got to get out. You gonna have to throw me a couple of dollars or something, But that's the thing, man. You got people out here, man. They won't get out your car when you at their stop. They want to wait till whoever where they're supposed to be open the door. That's not your problem as a driver. You drop people off and you go where you gotta go. And I tell y'all, when people do that, if y'all feel a need to let people stay in your car and wait, sometimes I let it go down if it's dark time or something. But don't end the trip. Keep the trip rolling. I'm trying to give y'all some pointers, man, because you can make some money. I ain't gonna be no salty. You deactivated me. I ain't helping none of y'all niggas. No, man. Because I want the shit to change, man. Even if I can't get back, on the app. And I frankly don't really want to. They need to revamp the system, man. It's antagonistic to the drivers. But yeah, man, like, don't turn the app off. Only turn the app off when they leave your vehicle and you pulling off, man. And they got a feature on the Uber and Lyft where you get, like, it's a built-in camera to your phone. Turn that shit on anyway, even though it don't really help much. Turn it on anyway. And be careful what you say to the passengers. careful what you say, even if you don't think it's a big deal. The thing with me, they probably didn't like that I said dumbass, but when I was really thinking about it, they didn't like the fact that I was arguing with the chick at all. See, that's the thing. They don't want you arguing with anybody. They don't want you disagreeing. They want you to say, okay. You're right. Okay. Hell, even if that, whatever you say. Hell, shit. Don't say nothing. They just all they want is the passengers to be yapping in your ear, talking mad shit, and you just driving like a robot. Because that's where they're going anyway. They want an AI, the ride share business. So they want AI drivers. And that's understandable. You get the most money. You don't have to worry about drivers getting tired. You can have cars around the clock. See, they shut us down at 12 hours. You can't drive no more at 12 hours until 6 hours, consecutive 6 hours. They want you to rest up, but AI can just go all day long. So that's why I don't really want Uber and Lyft to fail, because if you got stock in this shit, you gonna be making money. If you got stock in them companies, when they bring that AI stuff on, they're gonna have maximum profits. So yeah, they still working for me. Yeah, I was working for them, but in a sense, they working for me too. So still getting paid off you little punks. Punk ass. Deactivate these nuts, nigga. But yeah, folks, I said a bunch of stuff about this company, man. Be prepared. Don't do none of that Uber Eats, package delivery crap, nothing. You ain't gonna make no money. Stick to driving. You might as well do DoorDash. I was doing DoorDash every now and then to maintain my account. But you never know, man. You can do DoorDash out of state, all over the state. You can't do Uber outside your state. The app will automatically shut off, because every time I cross into Ohio with a trip, see, they just give you a trip to Ohio. They stopped really kind of doing it, to me at least. But they was giving me 50-mile trips for $50. They was doing that last year. Then they slowed it down. They try to hit me with a $25, $35 50-mile trip. Like, man, you out your fucking mind, because those are the worst trips. Don't do those trips that'll take you out of state. They try to lure you out. If it ain't like dollar for mile, $1 for mile, or even 90% to a mile, hell, you might can do it for at least 80 cents on the dollar per mile. If there ain't something like that, don't go out of state. It got to be worth it. $200. But they'll send you $200 for 300 miles or something. They'll try to slip that trip on you, like they did my ass. I had to cancel. Like, 'cause back then, I was learning the ropes of Uber, and I saw that $250. I was like, no, wait a minute, man. What's the mileage on this motherfucker? They had me going in the heart of Ohio, but the only way for me to figure that out, see, I waited real close till I got up on the passenger. Not close enough where you can hop in the car, but close enough so I started the trip. I said, hell no. No, I wasn't even $200-something, because that's the thing. No, it was $200-something, but that's the thing, man. Like, you got to be willing. Back then, I really wasn't willing to do that, and you got to factor in the cost of how much it's going to cost you to get there and back. Maybe you can do it in a hybrid or something like that. With a gas mileage, you get like 40-something, 50-something miles per gallon. My car, I get like 23 miles per gallon. You gonna burn like $100. So was that really a deal? You gonna get there, the app gonna shut down. I'm gonna be in the middle of Ohio somewhere and have to deadhead miles back. Over 100 miles just to cross the border into Michigan. And then from the bare south Michigan, I'm still not gonna get no rides. You ain't gonna get no rides going back to Detroit, which would be lucrative. That kind of stuff, man. Nope. They paid like, dollar for dollar with the short ride, $4 rides. I started back doing those because I saw that, I just saw that the algorithm is gonna cheat you anyway. The algorithm wants to pay you a certain amount. It tries to pay like some days $20 an hour, some days $23 an hour, some days $24 an hour, some days $25 an hour. Whatever the algorithm wants to recoup from you. That's why I say the algorithm always gets you. It just adjusts. It'll tailor your rides and fares to kind of pay you like an employee by the hour. That's what it does. It tries to pay us by the hour. And it actually does, pulls it off. So you be like, how come yesterday it was only like $6? I made like $200. Now today, I gotta drive for like 9 hours to make $200. The algorithm always recoups what it gives you. It balances out. It balances it out. That's why you got these rideshare guys. Don't listen to them, man. If you follow my course, you can cherry pick. You can't cherry pick, man. It's not a cherry pick game. They stopped the third party apps from working. Because those probably was the only real way. Maximo and that other one, Maestro, those are the only real ways when they was working to cherry pick. Because you would just set the app to what you was willing to accept, and it will automatically select those trips and reject the rest. And the algorithm couldn't really keep up, and your acceptance rate really wouldn't take a hit like that, because the algorithm, Uber's out or Lyft algorithm, will want to give you trips, because they want to make a profit from you. So it was a system that was working, but now it doesn't work because they blocked those apps, those kind of apps. So you got to do everything by manually, which is another thing that's dangerous. You don't have your app mounted close by you, reaching this stuff. They sending trips your way. They'll send trips to you when you turning on an expressway. It's like it happens like clockwork. It's not a coincidence. They'll send you trips while you're talking to somebody, a passenger, a lowball trip. And you're like, how I get this trip? You done selected the trip without even paying attention because you're too busy talking. You making turns, you making tight turns on the block, because the app got some kind of programming now where they gauge how you drive, how fast you driving, you making sharp turns, you stopping too quickly, too hard, you accelerating too fast. They don't care about what kind of car you got. They don't care about you trying to just speed up to get up to speed, and now you're leveling out with traffic. If you turn it out into some traffic areas, man, you got to speed up. They don't care. They count all it against you, so they know how you turning, and they just hit you with a bogus trip. And you don't want to hit it because sometimes you don't accept. It'll be some minutes before trips. You want to keep the ball rolling. There's some real manipulative, antagonizing stuff going on. So that's why y'all probably hear like, man, this guy. I'm not too broke up about it. But it was how I was making money, and I got used to making money like that. So I kind of feel naked. That makes sense. You always feel different. I call it a reality shift. When you're used to doing something, or you're used to being somewhere, used to living somewhere, a change happens in your mind. It's a reality shift. You feel different. Your mood is different. I ain't too sad about it, because at the same time, I was kind of getting weary of it anyway, dealing with people. People's too negative energy. And sad to say, a lot of black people, their energy was just too negative, too passive aggressiveness. The women, the guys, the youth. But every now and then I get some real respectable black folks. I'm like, oh, okay, this person was raised right. Some young black dudes. Sometimes they try to say sir and all this. Don't buy that stuff, man. You're trying too hard. But don't write them off right away, man. Just listen to them, man. Just pay attention. Some of these people be putting on the act, man. Sir, no, you ain't like that. You gonna deal with people who don't want to speak to you. I was perfectly fine, but usually when I ask you your name when you get in, I do it to make sure you're the right person. It ain't a no-brainer, not really. I ain't had situations where people got in. I'm on the expressway and they ain't even the right person. So I started asking names from, this such and such. Some people won't even answer you because you didn't say their name correctly and all this. You said it close enough, but you ain't said how they used to. That kind of passive-aggressive stuff. They know what you meant. You dealing with people, man, they gonna be familiar with you. If you a black person, they gonna be talking to you like how they talk to their mama they don't respect, or their dad they don't respect. You can't be talking to people like that, man. You don't know people, man. You familiar. As soon as you do something, they want to call the police. That's how it is, man. That's how you ought to keep that in mind. They always gonna call the police, man. They're gonna try to report you. All that thuggery they come with and disrespectful talk like they can whoop your ass is gonna go out the door when you break bad on them and give them their energy back. So that's to keep in mind too. But yeah, you can make money, man. You like driving. As y'all can see, I'm driving now. I'm not getting paid for it no more. So I'm just letting y'all know what to expect. But I'm about to go in. We'll go out on a Friday night, but I'm at a place that I can't. If I leave, I ain't gonna get no damn parking spot at 2 a.m. So on that note, folks, to be continued.